tyrannies are not brought in by the majority, they're brought in by a few people, to which these two perceptual groups concede themselves to the tyranny. They acquiesce to the tyranny. Now there's a third group, and well, my God, it's coming, that is not massively influenced by Wetiko. And they're in a much more high frequency state because they've opened their mind from the 5 sense prison cell and allowed other more expanded levels of their awareness, consciousness into this perceptual process. And they're the ones, when you get into those higher frequency states, that develop the bulwark to all tyranny, which is self-respect. It's self-respect that says, I don't care how you try to intimidate me, I'm not doing stupid things and being told to do them by stupid people just because you tell me. If you want me to do something, authority, then you give me the evidence and you give me the background, you persuade me that what you want me to do is valid and the right thing to do. If you can't do that because you can't produce the evidence, and of course they haven't, then I'm not doing it. And they're the ones that say through their self-respect, I'm not cooperating with my own enslavement. They're the ones that have brought down every tyranny in history, the ones that won't have it. And so we are. I was doing an interview last night. It was actually a question and answer with a lot of people around the world, and some of them were in Canada, and they had a truck driver on who was part of the convoy, and he was saying or talking, and so was someone else actually from Canada, who was in Ottawa, about the fantastic atmosphere among the truckers and the people supporting the truckers. The love, the joy, the mutual support, this high energy state. And that it was just an amazing thing to feel, they said. And I sat there knowing exactly what they were talking about, because these big rallies and marches in London, I was one last weekend, the latest one, which was fantastic. You have the same thing. You know, years and years ago, I would go on marches or protests or whatever against wars and what have you. But it weren't the same. No, it was not the same as this. What is happening now? There is a new energy, there is a new consciousness emerging that is very different to what we've seen before. And this is developing, and I hope it goes on developing, not just into pushback, but bringing about absolute societal change by changing the dynamic between authority and people. Because if the people won't have it, authority can't do it. Simple as that, if enough of the people won't have it. And once you go into these more expanded states of consciousness, anyone could do it, you just open your mind and let it in, then you're not going to have it. You're not going to have these impositions upon you. You're not going to cooperate with your own enslavement because your self-respect won't allow it. So there are some amazing things going on. And I do absolutely see these two expressions of these two states of awareness, love, and joy, and expansion, and realizing we're all points of attention in the same consciousness. And all the human labels are just fault lines of potential division when they don't have to be. And this other energy, which is seeking to manipulate, to suppress, to oppress, and to censor, and to silence. You see, one of the things I've been consistently talking about all these decades is the bottom line of this conspiracy, the bottom line of Wetiko. And that is to separate 5 sense body-mind, as I'll call it, from expanded states of awareness. Because it can't manipulate expanded states of awareness, not least because they are not in its frequency band. They need to, or it needs to, through all its different expressions, it needs to disconnect the influence of expanded states of awareness on 5 sense body-mind. And if you look at how the five senses decode reality, they see everything as apart from everything else. There's no unity. Everything's separate, because it can only visually decode a particular band of frequency, visible light, which overwhelmingly relates to what we call form. So if I look around, I see form and I see empty space between it. So to the five senses, everything's apart from everything else. And if you only get locked away in the five sense prison cell, then you are a piece of cake to divide and rule with other people that see the world in the same way. So you have the divisions on race and religion and income bracket and all these things, which are designed to set the target population at war with itself, so that they don't look up and see that the same hands are controlling the strings to all of them. We're too busy fighting each other and being divided among each other to see actually that we have a common, if you like, enemy that is running the show, and is running this side and that side, and all in between. So this whole five sense focus is the very bottom line, because if you could go deeper into the field, you would realize that actually there is no empty space. Everything's filled with consciousness, energy, possibility, potential. All we're swimming like fish in the ocean in this sea of energy, the quantum field of possibility, probability. And this is what connects us. Everything is connected. When people say everything is one, what does that mean? It means we're all part of the same field of consciousness. We're just different points of attention within it. And so if you reach that point of understanding that we're all one, and that whatever body we may be experiencing through, it's just a brief human experience and not the I, which is the consciousness having the experience, then your ability to divide and rule for a start is gone. And also your ability to deceive, because the whole idea of this, I'll call it Watiko, is to focus attention and perception in virtual totality in the five senses, and not be influenced by expanded states of consciousness. And then once you've isolated body mind, you then program it through the control of information with the perception that you want it to have. Mostly the basic one is, I'm little me, I have no power, what can I do? And then you're a doddle to manipulate.